City Current. Produced by Dakota Media Access. In-depth discussion with Bismarck and Mandan city officials. Watch on Government Access Channel 602 HD or tune in to Radio Access 102.5 FM. Always local, always current.
Current, I'm Tom Gerhardt with Dakota Media Access, joined by Mandan City Administrator Jim Neubauer, and we're talking Mandan City Commission from May 20th, although it feels a little bit more like...
Feels like early March or something like that,
Some
Tom.
snow, I think, flew in parts of the state.
A little rainy and chilly out this morning.
Not golf weather
yet.
And state track meet coming up. Hopefully the rain will stop.
That would be
getting
a
little gloomy. Show you what we're going to be talking about, or a few of the things today. It was neat last night. Eva Benz had written an essay on If I Were Mayor, and that seemed to be well received, but it was really cool the experience I thought that she had last night. St. Joseph's is looking to make an addition, and Abra has also asked for a variance in something that they'd like to do on the strip, and talk a little bit about a boat that the Mandan Fire Department looks like they'll be receiving with some grant money. And
correct.
So lots going on today. Wanted to show people we've started to brand the meetings. So if you see a new start and end to the meetings, we just wanted to make people aware that you can download our app so that when the weather does get nicer, Jim, when you're out at the golf course or on the beach, on the sandbars,
you're
gonna watch the city commission meetings,
yes.
Live or archived. So, and as everybody knows, we do over 300 government meetings a year here at Dakota Media Access. So, but let's get into last night's meeting and mention Eva Benz. If I were mayor, her essay that she was able to read in front of the commission.
I think.
But it was really cool the way I said, the way the whole city staff and the commissioners treated her. I think she got an excellent experience last night.
Yeah, Eva wrote an awesome essay. This is a North Dakota League of Cities sponsored event, I think across the state. 3rd grade and 7th graders can write an essay. Eva was the only applicant and the only essay that was submitted from Mandan this year. Normally, sometimes there's 30 or 40 of them that have been submitted. So we, along with Mayor Freilich and our communication specialist, Carrie Schmidt, and Business Development Director and Madison Cermak, brought donuts up to her class a month or so ago and introduced ourselves and had a good time in her classroom, and then invited her down to kind of spend a commission meeting with Mayor Freilich. And Eva's super kid. Parents were there, teacher was there, and things like that. And just another example of how we're trying to engage young folks in city government and things like that. And I think Mayor Freilich and I were having some discussions last night about how can we do more in the future to help out whoever wins this contest in Mandan. And maybe that's a day with the mayor, or there's more engagement with the city commission meetings.
I mean, donuts are a good start.
Yes.
She, in her essay, she really started just elevating public education in Mandan, so that was neat to hear her talk about that. And then a little side story, I guess you said she got to get out of tennis practice early to come to the commission meeting.
I know, she made a point of telling me that, and we conversed about her tennis coach, which happens also to be my daughter. And so I was trying to dig some goods on both Eva and Kat. So always interesting when those ties are unexpected. And I didn't let her know that I was her tennis coach's father until after she told me what she thought of her tennis coach. So all was good.
It turned out to be a good day for Eva because
Yes.
she said the right things about her tennis coach and got quite the experience last night at the city commission meeting.
Yeah.
On the consent agenda, and I know this is just standard operating procedure, but a number of gaming renewals and liquor licenses this time of year.
It is, like you say, that is July 1st through June 30th are our liquor license renewal periods, and also for the gaming operations that go on in town. So we'll see a lot of those. We saw a lot of them on the agenda last night. We'll see a lot of them on the first meeting in June agenda for commission approval. We try and, it's interesting because we work on these licenses starting back in April and sometimes in March. And there's sometimes some procrastination that goes on by the license holders and things like that. But again, we will see more of these coming up on the next agenda too.
And I guess I bring it up because, this money benefits a number of organizations
Right.
in communities across the state. But as we're talking about Mandan, it gives back to a number of nonprofits.
Yeah,
helps them
charitable
do-
gaming is huge. Obviously, it's expanded tremendously in the last 4 or 5 years. And look at all the projects that they have contributed to. We'll talk about our boat for the fire department. I think there's been some contributions from some of those gaming organizations. I know Mandan Parks and Recs are a big recipient of some of the clubs, and some of the facilities that we have are a direct result of those gaming operations. So always good.
Moving on to the public hearing section of last night's meeting, St. Joseph's wants to consider a variance or ask for a variance on. We have a couple of
Yeah.
photos. They have this house which a father lives in right now, but it sounds like it's also serving as an office.
Correct, and they had asked, they wanted to build a little larger structure on that piece of property, and I think there's normally a 20-foot setback variance, and I think they'll go to 10. I can't remember exactly what it is, but commission said, yes, that will fit into the surrounding neighborhood. St. Joe's needs the space, they need the office work. Part of that agreement, too, is that we did get some concerns over off-street parking, and as long as there is an agreement in place where they can utilize the parking lot that is just to the west of this building for their normal day-to-day parking, and they're not filling up the folks that work in this facility, taking up the residents' parking space, I think we're going to be just fine. So,
And there's a rendering of what the future
Right.
church office will look like. We did learn last night that due to some unexpected funding challenges, that this project will be moved down the road, maybe
Correct.
to next year, but it will be on in the future.
Yep, and so we can look forward to that, and very good project, and a nice-looking building that they're going to put up.
Also, Abra on Memorial Highway was asked for
Right.
a variance as well, and I have a couple of photos to kind of give folks a perspective of where that project is. You see Memorial Highway on southeast labeled there in the outline of the blue, and this again would be a nice fresh look at Abra on the strip.
Right, another really positive addition, and we look at all the construction. Well, the construction has kind of come to
Come to a halt.
standstill on the strip right now due to the rain the last week. But a lot of what we're seeing is a lot of the businesses in this area are taking advantage of, okay, if there's going to be some construction going on the street in front of us, maybe it's time for us to do some improvements on the inside or exterior
Yeah.
or an addition onto our building. So pretty pleased with Abra's kind of freshen up their look and do some expanding
Expansion,
and that sort of thing. So again, it's been very interesting to watch and have the conversations with those entities on the strip. They're looking at, hey, now is the time we're going to upgrade our buildings along with the upgrade in the infrastructure.
Yeah, and we'll show you another one shortly, Napa Auto. Before that, though, new business on the agenda last night. We heard consider approval of the North Dakota Game and Fish Department boat funding agreement
Yes.
with the Mandan Fire Department. There's a lot of words there. I probably could have simplified it a little bit. The Mandan Fire Department is going to be able to get a boat to help with
Correct.
some water
Yeah, and
response.
we've got Lakewood Station number 2, which is down in the Lakewood and Marina Bay area, very close to the water, where if we get called out, the boat that we're looking at is going to be able to operate in, I think, 8 inches of water, which is pretty critical as the river
Yes.
fluctuates, as we've seen.
Anybody that's been on the
lately
river.
knows that, absolutely. And this, I think Fire Chief Bitts made it a point of saying we're not in competition with Burleigh County Dive and Rescue or Morton County Dive and Rescue. This is not intended to be a dive operation. It's for on top of water operations and things like that. And I think when the commission first approved moving forward with this grant application, it was, all right, if you are able to find donations for the rest of it, so it's not coming out of our tax base and things like that, if you find enough donors that are interested in helping support this project, and then along with this grant, and it's not costing the residents of Mandan out of pocket, go for it.
Yeah.
Obviously, we'll have training and some time from our firefighters put into this. I know that we've even had some discussions with Police Chief Ziegler about if we need to get some police officers some training in this also, that we'll work on that so that we've got a full complement of folks that can be out on the water looking. And again, it's not intended to be in competition or being underwater activities. These are above ground activities, and we'll look forward as we start procuring bids for this boat.
Mayor Freilich, I thought, asked an interesting question about would this boat be left in a marina on the water, and Chief Bitts said no, and there were a couple of reasons for that, obviously, and you can go into it a little bit more. Response was one, you wouldn't want to have the boat at one marina and have an issue somewhere else, and then also I think you mentioned the low 8 inches of water that this boat can be utilized in. Also, there was some part of the boat that would be subject to a lot of weathering.
It's the UV. As
UV,
anyone who has any, whether it's a jet ski or a pontoon or a boat outside, your UV rays are really going to deteriorate that fabric and that boat. And so we will keep it inside, stored at Lakewood Station 2. We have a vehicle that will pull it in and out. And if we were to dock this in Marina Bay, absolutely for positive, the first call we get out is going to be somewhere far away. And we're going to have to load it up and put it on the trailer and get it out. So in this manner, it'll be kept inside, out of the elements, and available for use at a drop of a hat.
Yeah, so, just another tool for public safety.
Right. So very good. It's something we've been looking at for several years, and now the timing was right. The funding obviously is come in with donations and also with this grant.
Napa Auto on Main Street is doing its refresh, I think, after 3 decades or so, and we can see the current state of Napa Auto Parts and, and then what the proposed signage would look like, but a nice refresh.
Yeah, good project, and this is what our downtown storefront improvement, or actually we've expanded to the Strip and other parts of town, but right now for our storefront improvement project, in this case, Napa is a corner lot, so they're eligible for not only the Main Street facing side of their building, but also the westerly side. They're going to, part of the project is removing all signs of blight and things like that in order to qualify for the project. They came in with, I think, a great plan, a great refresh, updates, things like that that'll make it look more modern, and it was time. And so they're eligible for, I think, up to $60,000 in grant funds as long as they spend $120,000. So it's a dollar for dollar match. We also, as part of what we call clawbacks, is that we put in a 5-year, it's really a 5-year promissory note or a loan that we provide to the entity, and that is forgiven in equal portions over 5 years. So if this building were to sell or change or rebrand or something within 2 years, then we will get a payback of those funds, because we want to make sure that the changes that are made are substantial and they're long-lasting.
We'll hop back to Memorial Highway, and you mentioned the rain hasn't been a friend of construction.
No, it has not.
And we've talked about this project in the past, but just the financing resolution and the cost share involved. From the finance department, Greg Welch appeared before the commission last night to provide the update. Yeah,
part of that, I think it is $31 million, and that includes both above ground and our below ground portion of this project. And this is, it's important to note we've got a $120 million project going on. Of that 120, the local, which are the responsibility of the city and our residents and things like that, is $31 million. A lot of that is on the below ground, water and sewer and things like that are not necessarily eligible for federal funding. We've done, I think, a yeoman's job of obtaining all the grant funding we can to help reduce that local cost. And in this case, we're able to tap into 2% loan money, which is a huge savings. If we would need to go out and borrow on the open market at today's rates, you might be looking at 5 or 6% interest. 2% over the time period of this loan is a great benefit, and that's part of what the state of North Dakota provides on projects like this. So big help, and that cooperation, like you said, is a big bonus for the taxpayers. Right. And again, $120 million project, and there's lots of different grant funding sources that are going in to make this project possible. Obviously, the rain of late has put a little damper on that, but they're busy. And I know even this weekend they were trying to pump out some of the water from the places and dry it out, but that has kind of been a fruitless effort to date with the rain continuing.
Oh, gosh. Well, it looks like in the extended forecast, we might get some sunshine and some dry conditions finally.
Yep, but that's always, when contractors bid projects, there are rain days built in. So if your project is supposed to last 100 days, you may have 20 rain days built in. So we still are expecting everything to be done on time, but we will see how long this continues.
We've been showing folks this contact form just if they want to stay up to date with
Right.
what's happening on Memorial Highway. So there's a QR code and a URL and also a phone number. So I guess if you want to keep up to date with the project and don't want to drive through and take a look at things,
Yeah.
that's a way for people to keep in contact.
Yeah, interesting call I received Monday, and the business owner decided to tell me that there's a lot of rain. I said, yes, there is. Okay, I just wanted to let you know that. And I said, perfect, thanks for calling. Anything else? Nope. Just thought I'd, call and tell you that. And it was one of those calls you go, all right, thank you very much. And they fully understood what's going on and going, there can't be a lot of work going on when there's so much rain at the same time. So like I said, one of those calls that you go, thanks for calling. We appreciate it. Anything else you need to tell? Nope. Just want to let you know that. I said, perfect. He said, all right, all good.
Well, hopefully for your Public Works open house tomorrow,
Correct.
The weather lets up a little bit, although won't be outside, I guess. But this is a pretty neat event and gives people an opportunity to really see what city crews are doing and city workers are up to.
Yeah, I think our Public Works Director, Shane O'Keefe, kind of gave some highlights and last night. So May, I'm thinking it's April because April showers, right? Yeah. So May 18th through 24th is National Public Works Week. Our open house is Thursday, May 22nd from 4 to 6 p.m. down at our Public Works shop. And normally we're inside there anyway, and there will be, hamburgers and hot dogs and some snacks, and folks will have the ability to, if you want to get in and hop in a snowplow, see what it looks like, hop in a street sweeper, we'll take you for a ride. And a lot of kids come down and like this. A lot of our different partners that we work with will have a booth set up at that point in time. So again, huge shout out our Public Works folks, men and women, have been busy cleaning the equipment and getting things ready for this. And they are, they're out there right now making sure storm drains are open, doing their best to make sure any other issues that are going on with the city. I know we've had, I think, 1 or 2 water line breaks. So they're out there busy doing the work that they normally do and also getting ready for this. So big shout out to our Public Works crew.
You already answered my follow-up question, but I thought it was a fun moment in the meeting last night where, Shane, will there be food? And the answer is yes.
We normally know in order to get people to come to an event, you'll need food and beverages.
Yes.
So there will be, I think, water for folks to drink and a hot dog and a hamburger, and I think we're going to have cookies too going out.
Okay,
on
well,
them. So
all right. Now
expect to see you there tomorrow night from 4 to 6.
That seals it. If there
There
are
we go.
cookies, then I can't miss that.
Right.
I guess the good news of all this rain, or one of the good pieces of all this rain, is Morton County's lifted its burn ban.
Yeah, and we'll say that it's lifted for now. I believe. And again, it's really important that folks are always diligent in when those burn bans are in place. We know that, not far away, the 4th of July is coming up, and we're certainly hoping that we're not into the same situation we were a week ago, where the burn ban is in place. And like I said, so no matter what, people just need to be diligent and careful.
And it's camping season.
Yes.
I mean, this is Memorial Day weekend.
It is.
Never seems to have great weather. At least looking back, it always feels that way. But everybody's going to be out and about and enjoying summer, and so good advice always to be cautious. Well, we mentioned before we'd love folks to download our apps at Dakota Media Access. The DMA app will give you access to our government access station and also our community access station, so you can stay on top of all the happenings in Bismarck and Mandan and Burley and Morton County. And our radio access app has a lot of really great DJ-produced, local-produced radio programming, and also podcasts that are produced locally. So great apps to have handy if you want to listen to some music while you're out and about this summer. And you can find us wherever you are, whenever you can. Great. Jim, thanks for the visit. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, thank you very much. And maybe we'll dry out by then a little bit.
Dry out by then, and we'll see what's in the future. Thanks for joining us today.
For more information on what was discussed in this episode of City Current, visit cityofmandan.com or call 701-667-3215. If you have any suggestions, comments, or issues you would like addressed in future City Current episodes, contact us at info@freetv.org. This program airs on Government Access Channel 2 and 602 in HD, or on Radio Access 102.5 FM. It's also available as a podcast on radioaccess.org and as a video viewing link at freetv.org. Thanks for tuning in to this edition of City Current.